Hi again, guys, and today this is going to be a bit of well, this is going to be two videos. First, I'm going to go through a little bit of an update regarding my channel and, well, YouTube channel and Twitch channel. I figured it would be easiest just to do this over just at the start of one of my own replays that I, well, kind of felt like sharing because I wanted to go over why I like the SU-152 and why it's my kind of go-to tank for just having fun at the moment. But before I actually get into that, which will probably be like a mini replay of sorts, well, mini review rather, this is rather short replay overall. Before I get into that, the update that's gonna be kind of regarding my channel on YouTube and Twitch is going to be that I'm probably not going to have as much time to make YouTube videos or stream as much in the next few months. Mostly the rest of May, most of June, July, and possibly quite a lot of August as well. This is because with my current job, I'm working quite unsociable hours. I'm usually working an average, like the average shift for me is between 2 in the afternoon and something like midnight, 1 a.m. Yeah, I know. Not great. It's the life of someone who works a hotel bar. So basically, I'm not going to have very much time. It's going to be a case of there's going to be a lot of weeks where I'm going to just end up, waking up, getting ready for work, going to my shift, doing that, coming back home, going to sleep, wake up, repeat. It's going to be a lot of weeks like that. Then also in June, I was originally not going to be going to Tankfest. I am still going to be going for the Sunday in the end. Just figured, well, I might as well have my holiday. There's no point cancelling the hotel now. So I've got a Sunday ticket, and if someone ends up cancelling their Saturday ticket, then I've asked the Tank Museum to let me know, so then I can get that as well. If that's not the case, then I'll just explore Bournemouth on the Saturday, and I'll catch everyone at Tankfest on the Sunday. Although that said, I'll probably end up catching Circle and Ireland Man and all the others on the Friday and Saturday nights for dinners, etc. So I'll probably still see everyone anyway. But yeah. I won't be streaming or making YouTube videos as much over the next few months, just because I won't have the time, unless I manage to get myself another job where I'm working a bit more sociable hours. I've had applications into a few different places, so we'll see how those go. Anyway, with that out the way, the SU-152. This at the moment is one of my favourite tanks just for having fun with, and yeah, this tank has a selection of different guns. You've got a couple of 122mm guns that you can equip, and then you've got this. This is, in fact, the stock gun. It's a 152mm howitzer. Essentially, this gun carries on the idea of the one from the KV2, where you've got pretty high pen HE shells. You've got 86mm of pen on those with 910 alpha damage. Your AP rounds are basically the premium AP from the KV2. They've got 135mm of pen, 700 alpha, and then you've got heat rounds with 250mm of pen. Also, that was some bad judgment on my call. I thought I would be able to poke over and shoot this guy in the face. Turns out he had just enough of his start showing to only have his gun poking over, so my mistake there. But yeah, 250mm of pen on the heat rounds and 700 alpha. Now I play this thing a lot like a heavy tank, as you're probably gonna be seeing from this match, and if you watch my stream you'll probably see it there as well. And it's purely because this gun can't really, although it's got the heat rounds that have, the same pen at every distance, it's not got the accuracy, the aim time to deal with that. Your reload is not bad for a 700 alpha gun, essentially. Your HE rounds are going to be your secondary ammunition on this, in my opinion. Although I am loading them for this match because there's not really anything with any armor in this match. And you're going to be seeing that fairly quickly as we round this corner here. We're not going to get a shot on the OI, but that Steyr there, yeah, just he's not going to be having a very fun time, let's put it that way. So the nice thing about this tank is that it's basically a more mobile platform for the same gun as the KV-2, except the premium rounds do a lot more because they've got the pen to do so. You've also got the better reload time, the better gun handling when compared to the KV-2, so there's that as well. I'm completely ignoring that G1R, by the way. He is just going to die in seconds to those guys. And so, instead of the Type 58, oh look, there's a Dickermax who's ignoring us. Yeah, goodbye, Mr. Dickermax. Now, the Type 58 is shooting at us, so we're going to be paying him back in kind. Hello, sir. We're going to take a shot from him anyway, or he's just going to miss. And boop. Yeah. Well, what we could have done was two things. We already had an HE shell loaded, so it was basically just a case of just fired at him anyway. And then the rest of his health was taken by the arty, so that's not too bad. We could have loaded a heat shell for him, but he wasn't really who I was planning to shoot next. I was hoping to get a shot on the IKV with the HE shell there, but there he goes. He's running away, but you know, he's not going to be going far. Yeah. And we're also getting the spotting on the Panzer IV-H there, who has been AFK for the whole match up until now. And we've also spotted the Hummel. We're not going to get the kill on him. We're going to instead change our attention to the Hummel. Panzer IV does in fact get a shot into us. And, well, the Hummel was never going to survive that, regardless of what round I fired at him. But yeah, you can see that this thing is pretty mobile. And it doesn't really have spectacular armor, but you know what Russian tanks can be like. They can pull off some ridiculous bounces at the most ridiculous of times. So we finished off the arty there. We got ourselves the Pascucci's for the 2 kills on the arty. Obviously 2 kills on just any arty whatsoever is the case for the current matchmaking, because they had to obviously change the requirements with the maximum of 3 arty per team. So we're now moving in to this bush here. We're planning on getting shots on the Type 64 or the Rudy, possibly the Leopard, depending who comes out first. And there's the Rudy. We're not going to get the shot on him. There's really slim chance of that hitting. But there's the Type. Unfortunately, that one goes a little bit to the left and hits his tracks instead, and we are not going to get the reload here, sadly. Well, we are, but we're gonna miss. And yeah, this gun can be horrendously trollish, both for you and the enemy team. It can really troll the shit out of you sometimes, because it's, yeah, it can do some wild stuff. It can hit, you can hit ELCs on the move with AP and ammo rack them with this gun sometimes, and sometimes you can do fully aimed shots that just go absolutely nowhere near your target. And I'll actually put a link to, speaking of ammo racking ELCs, that was actually something that I did do. I ammo racked an ELC on the move with this, well, I was on the move and the ELC was starting to back below a ridge, and I may have snapshotted him. I'm going to put, it was a stream highlight as well, I'll put it below the video and in the description, so you'll have a chance to see that if you haven't already. And moving on to the results. So we got our ace tanker that match, we got the Pascucci's as I said, and we got the high caliber and the tank sniper. The tank sniper was quite a ridiculous one to get, because you're basically playing with an upgraded version of the KV-2 gun. So we ended up doing 2,948 damage, we got our 5 kills, and 1,285 base XP. And we also did 905 spotting, which is interesting. We did not make a profit that match either, however. This is not a particularly profitable tank with any of the guns that you use, sadly. Mind you, that's usually the case for tier 7s in general. Though this match more so, well, is even less profitable, because as you can see, we had a 60,000 credit loss for resupplying our consumables, because I do run full premium consumables on this thing, because I'm a little bit of a tryhard, I gotta admit it. But at the moment, the way artillery is at the moment, and the way the way that it's way more accurate and has a much higher rate of fire, it's actually pretty worthwhile carrying both the premium repair kit and the premium med kit, especially in things that don't have turrets such as this, because your repair speed's boosted by the repair kit, and your crew are going to be a lot less likely to be injured by artillery shells. And those are very, very important, because the new artillery, while it doesn't have good pen, it can still do a lot of damage because it's far more accurate. It's got a much better rate of fire, and you're not gonna have a good time if you're caught in the open with a tank like this if you do not have those. So as you can see, because of those consumables, we had a 60,000 credit loss. The food, of course, is to buff the reload on this tank, because you will find that there are times that if you didn't have it, then you may not quite have the reload on some enemy tanks. For example, if you were to, let's say you pop around the corner and there's a heavy tank round, and let's say you're a one-shot for the heavy tank. Let's say it's a Tiger 2. He's a two-shot for you. You put one through his side, let's say, and then you pull back round your corner. Let's say it's on Kharkov, and you're on one of those kind of wide buildings, and so you pop around the corner of it. You've got a 14-second reload with this gun, with food and the same kind of crew that I have, which is no brothers in arms, but you do have vents and a rammer. And you pop around the corner, you fire one into his side. He was a two-shot for you before that, he is now a one-shot for you, but you're also one-shot for him. So you have time to pull back around the corner and reload with food if it's on one of those ones on Kharkov, because he has to then turn around and then come after you. But by the time he has, generally, you will have the reload on him by the time he gets round. And he, of course, does have to turn his turret as well. So, therefore, with this setup, you're more likely to be able to finish him off before he comes around the corner fully, so you can get one perhaps through the drive wheel if you're loading AP, or into the upper side. If not, then you can maybe pen the lower plate with heat rounds. But yeah, the SU-152, it's a pretty fun tank for me, because you can play it like a heavy tank, maybe like a medium tank in some situations, and you will get away with it. You've got the mobility to do so, as long as, well, you're not going in reverse, because the reverse speed is absolutely awful. But going forward, this thing is pretty nice. It has a decent turning speed. The gun arc isn't too bad. As far as tank destroyers go, it's not spectacular, but it's enough to, make it kind of useful. But the gun, man, it's all about the stock gun on this. You do not want to be using the 122mm guns. While they do have much better reload than this thing, and the DPM overall is better, you're going to want to use this gun. And the reason I say this is because there are a lot of tanks, even at +1 matchmaking, so tier 8s. There's a lot of tier 8s that the 122mm guns kind of struggle with. Like, for example, if you're fighting a Lerva, it'll 122mm will kind of struggle with the Lerva. If you're fighting an IS-3, it'll struggle with that. Defenders especially. And then you've got your Libertés and your Patriots. Your 122mm guns won't really do that well against them. However, this gun does actually work, because the heat rounds, they'll go straight through the front of the hull on the IS-3, no problem. They'll go straight through the lower plate of the Tiger 2, no problem. Straight through the turret of a Tiger 2, no problem. Though there are a lot of things that can do that, to be fair. They'll go straight through the lower plate of a Defender. They'll go through the side armor of a Defender without any trouble. Unless, you hit the very, very thin spaced armor, which it does have. And it'll also just absolutely annihilate the side of a Liberté. And if you get it at just the right angle, you might be able to go through the little kind of little shoulders. If they're angling the front plate, but you've got the little kind of shoulders kind of facing you, you can pen those with this gun all day, all night with AP. Well, not with AP, but with heat at least. And then, of course, your gun is a big enough caliber that the high explosive is actually quite a threat to people. It'll do a consistent 300-ish damage to tanks like Lavas, Tiger 2s, IS-3s, things like that. And then, of course, you can actually deal with some tier 9s that way as well. And the heat will quite comfortably go through the hull of T-10s. Yep, that's right. The tier 9 Russian heavy tank is not really that well armoured on the front of the hull, so this thing is quite nice to use against them, especially since those things have frontal ammo racks. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, that's everything that I can think of for now on this tank. If you want to catch me playing this, I will generally play it on stream at least a couple of times towards the end, and maybe a little bit more when I start actually putting effort into 3-marking it. But for now, this is just a tank I play for fun, and you can see how effective it can be. You might also have noticed that on my YouTube channel I've got a couple of stream highlights already. If you want to check those out and see what this thing can do in different situations, have a look there. There's a couple of city maps. There's also one other that I've got that's in a slightly more open map. Overlord, I think it was on. In fact, yeah, it was Overlord. You'll see that also on the channel as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this match. Hope you guys will bear with me through the next couple of months as work gets a bit busier, and I hope most of all, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I'm actually really enjoying making these videos for you guys, and I really appreciate you all watching them. So, also, if there's any tank that you want me to kind of do a review of, that I've actually got, it makes it easier if I've got the tank, of course. But if there's any tank that you would like to see me do kind of this similar kind of mini review of, just feel free to have a look on my personal account on World of Tanks, have a look at any of the ones that I've played, and then just let me know. I'll see what I can do, and now that's everything. Hope you guys appreciate the video, and I'll catch you next time.